Welcome to the Wellness and Wahala podcast. This is a podcast for wellness and Wahala warriors who are a winner, world changer, wise, and winsome. They are dedicated to tackling Wahala, which means issues and problems in Nigerian pidgin for the good of humanity. Our tribe of subject matter experts in our village are a voice to the voiceless. Like you know, the African proverb, it says it takes a village. So we have a tribe of supporters that we will be interviewing on our show. Oya, join me, the former diplomat and public health advisor, Dr. Tomi Ademokun, better known as Omo Oba, as I give you the best public health and wellness and Wahala gist with wonderful people and guests, my VIPs, using their compassion to take action to put us on a pathway to a Wahala-free life. Bless up.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shepherd. Absolutely, sir. Thank you. It seems like you kind of read my mind and went ahead and gave an insight about the next question that is coming on. But absolutely, sir. You did answer the question and you did explain how there is a good working relationship between the board of trustees as well as the board of directors. And, absolutely. And I think it's in every organization. I mean, organizations will have people that have their differences, but sometimes you have to put your differences aside for the greater good, right? And if you know where you're headed, you will not always get it right, but at the same time, you have to just put that aside and say, okay, we're looking at it from the perspective of the organization, not as an individual. So if I have a goal that I really want to achieve and I realize that this is the goal of the BOT too, so why not join forces together, to make it work? Because for me, I'm somebody that believes the more the merrier instead of just doing my own thing. Thank you very much again, sir. Thank you. Absolutely. You really know what you're doing, and at the same time, you have given, like I said, you kind of read my mind. Talked about, what you guys have been doing, and one of the things, like you said, the membership drive and the rest of it. You give a very good explanation of that. That kind of actually moves me to the next question, because I know you are the new BOD chairman, and I know that you understand NIDO very well, and you have been a part of NIDO very well. Definitely trying to achieve during your journey? Great questions, Mr. Collins. So when I ran for the role of the office of the BOD chairman, I had my goals and aspirations were geared towards addressing 6 core areas. I stated the idea of membership, increased membership drive by creating engagement opportunities for both new and old members. First of all, I got into NIDO. My wife was actually the person that pushed me to join NIDO because when NIDO was created, they were the first. She was there when NIDO, and they were the younger ones when NIDO was created, and they were so excited about NIDO. So at some point they got tired. Now I don't even talk to her. She doesn't even want me to talk to her about NIDO. But I was like, hold on a minute, you were the one that pushed me to get into NIDO. Wow. Because she said, some of when they got in there, they were all full of energy. I mean, at that point she told me that they had about 20 young Nigerian professionals, who were members of NIDO. But right now, where are they? Most of them have moved on because maybe, they realize that it is not what they really want or something. But at the end of it all, I think it would be great, for that organization to change forwards. I'm sorry, with due respect to all the members of NIDO, I think NIDO needs to change its trajectory. We keep doing the same thing over and over again, and I think it's not really going to help us. So that is one, because we need to bring in new members, new people with energy, especially the younger generation, as far as I'm concerned, with energy. And there are some people that are kind of tired, people like my wife that I just talked about. How do we change their mind to come into NIDO and also share their own experiences and contribute their own quota for the benefit of the organization. The second thing that I talked about, the second thing that I said was one of the second my second goals to fundraising. NIDO is a 501c3 organization, but sometimes it seems like that. Not sometimes, most of the time. We don't really take advantage of our 501c3 status. We just focus on the dues from chapters. So why not expand our coast and look at fundraising out there? Take advantage of the 501c3 status that we have. So that is another thing we're looking at. Maybe bringing, trying to see how we can engage some of these multinational companies like Coca-Cola, companies like Delta Airlines. See how we can fundraise instead of just focusing on our dues every year, and to also build mutually beneficial relationships between Nigerian diaspora organization, especially in the US, and other Nigerian community groups through cooperation. We have other Nigerian groups out there, like that are not members of NIDO. So how would we come together, collaborating in maybe collaborating programs that would benefit both Nigerians in the diaspora and Nigerians back home, and also strengthen open and transparent communication between the national leadership and leadership chapters, and chapter leadership. Because just because I'm the BOD chairman, does not mean that I should not be transparent and open with the chapter presidents and their leadership or leadership chapters. So that is what I really want to. And we've been doing that, being open. Again, the BOD, we normally in every quarter we meet with chapter presidents, the BOD, so that we can talk about. We always talk about issues relating to NIDO and how to move NIDO forward. And developing more robust relationship between the Nigerian diaspora community and also African American community. That is another thing that organization do as NIDO. You know, I live in Columbus, Ohio here, and I see, there was a day that I was at an event. Then I saw this African American lady. She came to me. She was, I did my ancestry, and I'm from. They said, the result that she's about 80% Sierra Leonean, and she said, the Sierra Leoneans actually they give her an honorary citizenship. I was interested. So why can't we do that? I said, why can't Nigerians do that? I spoke to my chapter president. I called him. I said, Mr. President, I met this lady, and this is what she said. I think it would be good, for us to try that too. There are a lot of people that are very much interested in knowing where actually their ancestry is from. So, exactly. Yeah. So, if you have somebody that says, I'm 85% or 75% Nigeria, why can't we just don't give you a certificate? You are an honorary Nigerian citizen. So that would give them a sense of belonging. So, for me, I think it is something that will go a long way if we try that as not just as NIDO USA, but now as NIDO in general. Let's say Brazil or Canadian. They meet someone that says, I'm Canadian, but I'm 50% Nigerian. That will give them a sense of belonging. And also for me, lastly, to leverage the network and skills of members of NIDO USA. Collins, you're doing a great job. Dr. Tomi, you're doing a wonderful job here. So why can't we leverage? And we have people out there that are in NIDO that are doing wonderful things. So why can't we leverage their skills and so that we also can tap into the reservoir of their knowledge. So basically, for me, that is, it will be an achievement for me. And if I achieve all these things in the next year and a half, so I think those are the legacies I really want to leave as whenever my term is over.
Wow, thank you so much. You have really given me more than I expected, honestly. And you really touched on a lot of things that I wanted to slide in there. You did mention about tapping into the younger generation. That is a very, very huge opportunity that NIDO is missing.
Absolutely.
Very, very huge opportunity that NIDO is missing. And I've always been a strong campaigner as regards to tapping into our younger generation. Like I told people, I say, most of the students will one day be an employer or an employee.
Absolutely.
If we start to communicate with these individuals, with our younger generation, tell them the essence of being a part of this organization, trust me, when they get out of school and start working, they will remain very, very loyal.
Absolutely.
Dedicated to the affairs and the missions and the goals of this association. So it's something huge. It's something that NIDO should actually be thinking about, looking into. How can we organize ourselves and visit different big universities where we have a lot of Nigerians?
Absolutely.
To talk to them.
Absolutely.
Make them understand, see the light. Tell them this organization is who you are, it represents you. We want you to come and bring your talents. There's a lot of younger Nigerians with a lot of talents in this country that can come up with great ideas that will be very, very helpful, not just to us in diaspora, but as well as some of the challenges that we're facing back home.
Absolutely.
So it's a daunting task if you and your team will definitely look into how you can expand this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Reed, I won't tell you lies. It's a big campaign of it.
Absolutely. I look at it as, not to be disrespectful to anyone, especially to older folks in NIDO. But I think when you look at the organization, in my own opinion, and I stand corrected, it is want to, encourage the younger ones, to come out. With the exception of a few. I'm not gonna say everyone. I'm not gonna paint everyone with the same brush. There are some that some members of this organization that are really they want to see that the trajectory of this organization has changed. So, but I think the older ones, also especially those that have been in NIDO for a very long time, I think it is. I'm challenging them, because to get on board in making sure that this younger generation, are at the helm of affairs in NIDO. Because I don't know, some of us will be here in the next couple of years, and definitely if I don't have someone that is younger than me, to take or to be heading the affairs of NIDO, then I've failed.
No, you're right. You're absolutely correct in what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah. So my challenge to all these to all our elder brothers and sisters in NIDO is, encourage these younger ones. They are not a threat to anyone. As a matter of fact, they will come with their resources of knowledge. To share and also make sure that this organization goes to greater heights. So, we shouldn't take it as a threat, but we should embrace it and accept the fact that we have tried our best and let other people do their best too.
That is absolutely correct. So absolutely, like I said, count me in. I will work tirelessly with any organization or any entity that NIDO or any committee that NIDO wants to set up to drive this agenda. It is something that we definitely need. We absolutely need a lot, because one day we have to hand over the baton. There's nobody else that will hand over except our younger generations and the one coming up.
Absolutely.
You also touched on the issue of check on the old members, try to convince them to come back and join, convince them to come back and be productive and participate. I think it's something that NIDO leadership should also look into. How they can be able to talk to people that have been there before, people that thought that we want to change, we want to see change, we want to see a different direction of NIDO. I think it's very, very essential that the organization and the leadership, works towards that.
Absolutely.
You also mentioned about the 501c3 status. That's a very, very huge opportunity that NIDO has, and I don't really see much going on. What are they actually doing with it? There are so many things that I believe we can work towards in terms of achieving.
Absolutely.
With our status, thank God that we live in a society whereby they have grants.
Right.
Grants is one of the opportunities that we can use our status to tap into.
Absolutely.
And use that funding to create more awareness about Nigeria.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely correct.
We can use that opportunity to create more awareness about Nigeria and what we can be able to do for those that come in Nigeria.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You also mentioned about the African Americans that talks about having strong African heritage or roots.
Yeah.
That's another opportunity that we can tap into.
Absolutely.
Bring them on board, give them. It doesn't cost us anything to award them an honorary citizen.
No, it doesn't.
Because they will be more than happy to bring their resources and do something for the people back home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is quite a lot. It is quite a lot. I don't know with the time that you and your organization, the leadership have, if you'll be able to achieve all this, but laying a foundation for all this is very, very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, we may not achieve everything, but as a matter of fact, as you rightly said, we can lay the foundation so that someone can continue from where we stop. That's it. Our goal is to make sure that we achieve all those goals and aspirations. But if we can't, just lay the foundation so that someone, build a system that someone that is coming before or after us will just
Well, you say the best for last. You know, us ladies, we come in last.
Why is Dr. Toby quiet? I was just
because I'm really enjoying
Dr. Shepkong,
going
it's because he has to save the best for last. I let him go first, you know. So.
I agree. I completely agree.
But you.
Thank
Thank you, Collins. So I am very excited. You said a lot of key things. I'm born and raised in Chicago, so I like the Ohio, the Midwest connection. But as a first generational, Chi-town all the way.
Just a quick story. I used to live in Chicago before I moved to Columbus, Ohio, so I love Chicago.
Okay. So Chicago's your second home. You know, we call ourselves Shigerians. That's Chi-town and Nigerians together. So I'm happy about that connection. But, you know, it's always been a first generational Nigerian American. You know, now it's cool. People, you know, they hear Afrobeat music. You know, a lot of African Americans want to take a part in our culture. We have DNA, as you said, ancestry, where a lot of them have found out that they're from Nigeria. But it wasn't like that back in the days, especially when I went to college. I was a founder of my African Student Union at my predominantly white school. They had, like, you know, black sororities and fraternities, but they didn't really have an African or a Caribbean student union. So me and my sister and one of my best friends, we started the African Student Union, and we started to reach out to a lot of the African Americans, and we actually did a show one semester that was called, you know, African and African American relations. You know, the myths, conception, the myths. You know, there's a lot of animosity, you know, between African Americans that came out even at that discussion. You know, it was a deep discussion. They were like, look, you guys can be proud of your citizenship. You can hold your flag. You know where you came from. Like, that was stolen from us. And we just want you all to embrace us, you know. And this is before people can even find their ancestry. So I'm really happy about your vision. It doesn't take nothing for NIDO to say, look, let us give them, you know, an honorary certificate, you know, of membership to, you know, to NIDO and to Nigeria if you're Nigerian. And even if you're not, you know, if you're just African, you know what I'm saying? We should just embrace them. Like, their history was taken away. And just like you said, we're a nonprofit. Like, resources, I think that, you know, that's the way to really be a lifeline and bridge the gap between, you know, us African Americans. And I always tell people we're Africans first. That's why they call us African Americans. So Africans should embrace us. And we, even here in the diaspora, that know, like, where we come from, and we sent a lot of money home. You know, the World Bank says that we send about $30 billion, you know, back at home every year annually. But we still don't have a voice. And when it comes to, you know, leadership and voting. So that gets me to my next question to you. You know, I have a petition up, you know, has over 300 signatures. But even within NIDO, like, we have thousands of members. You know, people are not being active. A lot of people are just standing behind the sidelines. They're tired, you know. But the thing is, we have to be active. We have to take on an active role and to try to make a difference. So what is some ways, how would you advise we go about reaching out to key aspirants, people that are trying to run, and then also, you know, people that, you know, are doing good in the government at the local, state, and at the federal level in Nigeria to try to advocate for us to have the diaspora absentee voting bill? I'm a former diplomat. When I used to serve in Jamaica, in Ghana, back in Nigeria, when it's a voting year, I can vote and I can send my absentee vote. I can drop it off at the embassy and they will mail it out for me. We have Nigerian embassies and consulate everywhere. Like, how come they cannot facilitate? How can we engage? Like, at the ambassador, I know NIDO has a lot of connections. I see all of you, you know, in your personal lives, in your professional lives, and then even as a network. That's one of the reasons why NIDO is here, for us to network, for us to unite. But if we don't, you know, translate that into voting rights and policies, we can't really make the sustainable change that we want, you know? So over to you to give us, you know, a way forward in that area.
Yeah, for me, you know, I followed the diaspora voting bill. I followed it very, very keenly, and it was a sad day for some of us to can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was really a sad day to see that at least the bill failed in Nigeria. So, but for me, after that, I could hear a lot of people were angry, especially those in the diaspora. They were so angry about, okay, this didn't go through. So, but for me, I said, okay, at least that was the first try, right? I mean, we gave it a try. So we just need to go back, re-strategize, because for me, I believe it all boils down to strategy. You know, it boils down to strategy. We need to go back as not just as NIDO, not just as NIDO, but if all of us, all these Nigerian organizations that we have, not just in the United States, but all over the world, if we can go back and strategize and come up with ideas to speak with one voice and push this. It's not just pushing it, I remember when I was doing my doctoral program, and I took a class on policy processes, and my professor at that time, we're talking about, okay, how to, lobby a policy to go through, especially in the Senate or House of Reps here in the U.S. At the end of it all, he said, you have to, make sure that you make, I don't know if those that we are in charge or those that put that bill, forward, I don't know if they did their due diligence in reaching out to every single senator or member of the House of Representatives in Nigeria. Sometimes you have to do that.
Yep.
You have to do that. You have to do that because we cannot just send a bill, and we all know that we're from the diaspora and we need a voice, but at the same time we have to play this backdoor diplomacy. I'm not gonna speak authoritatively to say I don't know if that was done because I was not part of those people that fought for that, but I am sure they tried their best possible. But as I said at the beginning, all hope is not lost. One for me is to engage all the organizations, because if we pressure these people, the more pressure, I think we'll be able to achieve our aim. And secondly, we're not just gonna go as NIDO, we'll go as Nigerian Association of Association of Nigerian Physicians or Association of Nigerian Lawyers. All of us need to come under one umbrella and make sure that we are speaking with one voice. Of course, most of the people back home, I mean, those are the common affairs back home will not. I don't think they will. I don't want to say. Let me not be controversial here, but I think there's a reason why they didn't allow that to go through. But we have to check those boxes and see, okay, what are some of the reasons? What are some of the reasons? Okay. If these are the reasons, let's say, for example, I'm just using it for the sake of argument. We don't want them to vote because they're in the diaspora. Then we ask them why? Because other countries are even smaller than Nigeria are doing it.
Yeah.
I have a friend from Colombia. That told me, they vote.
Yeah.
So I kept asking myself, why can't, if countries like Colombia, with all due respect to Colombia, if countries like Colombia, the diaspora can vote, why can't we?
Right.
In Nigeria, and we have a large number of Nigerians in the diaspora. So for me, I think we need to speak with one voice as Nigerians in the diaspora and all Nigerians organizations, and also at the same time we need to, play our own politics too, because it all boils down to politics. How do we play? How do we make sure that we reach out to these members of the Senate, members of the House of Representatives, individually? The day that I'm from Plateau State, born and raised in Jos.
Okay.
So the day that the bill was rejected in the House, and I read some of the bills that there was a senator from my state who presented a bill for a name of a local government to be changed, and that was denied. So I was speaking with someone from my state who happens to be a politician also, and he was, I said, so what are we going to do about it? He said, well, I just reached out to the senator, and he said all he needed was the list of those senators that voted no. You know, he wants to get their names and their phone numbers so that he will call them and ask them, why did you guys vote no on this? You know? Yeah, so I think we need to change our strategy, you know, and we should not lose hope. You know, we need to keep pushing. At some point, these people will give, they will definitely give in, but we have to make sure that when we're doing that, we speak with one voice. I think for me, that will be the best way to go. Yeah. Speaking with one voice and also playing some kind of backdoor diplomacy.
Yes, you hit it right on the door. I tell people, you know, so I used to do a lot of site visits, outreach, because of the work that I did as a public health professional and working with the CDC in Nigeria, and of course having, you know, the benefits of going to JAWS. I visited probably 20 out of like the 36 states. I tell people, I said, you know, Nigeria is so diverse and beautiful, but if you don't really go out and see, you know, I tell people, I said, like JAWS, I love JAWS for the weather. You know, it has a natural AC and just the people and everything. It's a laid back place. So, but you know, and you know, I tell people we have the best of both worlds, being able to travel, you know, in Nigeria and then also here in the U.S. But politics is very strategic, and you just said some key things. One of the things I'm disappointed with, I'm gonna keep it real. So, you know, you said the good side, I'm gonna always bring the opposition. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm ready for the backlash. And I tell people, I said, you know, I started as a Nigerian. I was the first Nigerian American diplomat, the youngest. I was only 23. You know, straight out of school. I was very strategic. I was like, oh, you know, I want to work at the CDC, work in Nigeria. And then that year, you know, they launched their President's Emergency Plan for AIDS relief, the biggest and most funded, you know, $15 billion 5-year initiative, you know, to tackle HIV and TB in Africa. So, you know, God will open up the door. If you have to take faith without works is dead. You have to take the first step. You know what I'm saying? So, and you just said that, oh, we need to reach out to them. Yes, that's the first step. Every single House of Rep member, every single senator we need to reach out to. But we're supposed to have a link in Nigeria. We have NIDCOM agencies. I'm just going to compare apples to apples. So I've researched and I said, okay, other countries that engage their diaspora, like Israel. Israel does a very good job. It's only actually about 2 countries in the world. I think it's Israel and Australia, I think is the other one. But Israel is number 1 when it comes to diaspora affairs. They actually have a ministry of diaspora affairs. It's separate from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They work in hand with them, but they have their own. Why? Because diaspora people, Jews in the diaspora, they contribute. I've never seen a broke Jew. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they struggling, I'm telling you, like, even if they struggling, let's keep it real. Like, and they see their brother. Even if they have, like, they give out loans, they don't put interest on it. They make money from outsiders. They're truly their brother's keeper when it comes to the diaspora affairs. Okay. So you know. So you know what I'm saying. Even here in America, Jewish community. I mean, you know, from Chicago, they have strong presence. I'm in Georgia, they have strong presence. In New York, you know, I work for Columbia University. They have strong. Like, I'm telling you, if one Jewish. Okay. So, and when one Jew comes in, they unite. They bring in everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So how can we have a NIDCOM agency in Nigeria? You know, and I will call Dabiri. We have a symposium coming on next month. I mean, at this month, the end of this month, on talking about the diaspora voting. They also invited VP Osinbajo. I will drop the link for our listeners. I hope you also will be able to attend. Is April 30th, I think, on Saturday. But I'm going to call both the VP, but especially the NIDCOM, you know, Abiri out and say, Dabiri, and say, yo, that's why you there, to do all of the outreach on our behalf. You know what I'm saying? The Ministry of Diaspora Affairs in Israel, to the point that if I want to buy a house in Israel and I'm a Jew here, I don't have to go through my family members. So many people, like my mom, she got duped by her brother trying to send money home, and then, you know, he didn't build a house. Do you understand? So you can actually contact the Ministry of Diaspora Affairs and say, "Oh, I need to open up a diaspora bank account. I need to buy land. I want to invest. I want to bring investors." Do you understand? Back at home, they will facilitate all of that. Why? Because that helps, build their GDP, and that helps them. Even, what I'm saying, with their scorecard and their policy. Like, politicians, they want to look good. I'm like, look, if we're bringing ideas to them and bringing solutions, we're helping their tenure. We're helping them to get reelected in the future. You know what I'm saying? So it's a win-win situation. That's how politics is. So how can we have somebody there that's supposed to be a NIDCOM, agency and advisor to the president for diaspora affairs, and you're not doing that? Like, I'm telling you, that's a big disgrace. Like, I would pretty much step down out of my position and resign, because you cannot say, and this bill has been on for a long time. They keep presenting it, and then they keep shooting it back. They went to the House of Reps, they're like, okay, let's now move it to the Senate. They shoot it back. Of course they don't want us to pass a vote. And just like you said, if people didn't do their due diligence to say, look, we're not asking you. Like, the thing is, politicians, they forget that, they're public servants. We are not there to serve them. They are there to serve us. Do you understand? I work for the U.S. government now. I am here to serve this jurisdiction. I'm in charge of the U.S. Pacific Islands, Guam, American Samoa, Hawaii. All of them, I serve them. Do you understand? If they call me and they don't get in touch with me within 24 hours, I'm in trouble. You understand? So how can you be in a position and something like this, you drop the ball? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and then they should be engaging us. NIDO is there. It's a very easy thing. For other smaller nations, they don't have a body like diaspora organizations with subject matter experts all over the world. This is a global organization. So how can we engage them? And more importantly, even like, that's why I said, if we contribute $30 billion, so all the U.S. and British, foreign direct investments, private investments, they don't even contribute up to $5 billion. They actually contribute less than us. Do you understand? But if the U.S. ambassador wants to have a meeting with the president of Nigeria and they donate $1 billion to Nigeria, they will have a meeting ASAP. But us, we donate $30 billion. We send $30 billion home, and we cannot even get a phone call to Aso Rock. So I really am very, very happy about.
It's really mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. But how can we have tighter engagements? We need people on ground. And if NIDCOM is not working, that's why I studied and I said, look, Israel, they actually have a ministry of diaspora affairs. If we don't have one, that's something that we can propose. Do you understand? I say, look, that we need to have this. And there's a lot of African Americans that want to come home and invest. There's a lot of white, other races that are married to Nigerians. Do you understand? People that are dual citizenships, and they're like, look, we are proud of our African heritage, but our African heritage does not want to embrace us. We need to embrace every aspect of the Nigerians in the diaspora and those that want to associate and invest in Nigeria. And then we have to have an institution to be able to support us back at home. We don't have that institution in NIDCOM. I'm going to keep it real. Because if we did, we would have easily got this diaspora bill, passed. So what do you recommend, like, going forward on how we can actually we should, even as NIDO, have a liaison, a representative in every state of Nigeria, in my opinion. We should have a liaison at the African Union. We should have a liaison, a NIDO liaison at ECOWAS. It doesn't take a lot. I'm telling y'all, as politics, you have to actually be there. Have somebody, a liaison in person, advocating for you. We don't have that. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Dr. Tony. I don't want to really exonerate NIDO also, because in terms of working with NIDCOM, I think in all honesty, we need to get our acts right.
Yeah.
As NIDO, because if we don't get our acts right, I don't think we'll achieve anything.
Yeah.
I don't think NIDCOM will respect us. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody in Nigeria will respect us. So when they always say charity begins at home, I think we need to go and get our house in order, because the truth of the matter is this.
I agree.
Our house is not in order.
I agree.
And I still go back to the idea of speaking with one voice. Most of us in the diaspora, those of us are some people that are really engaged. Transform economies, right? So these countries have some approach that point to the country-driven initiative that basically build on shared development objectives between the diaspora and their government. So I think, Nigerian government should consider us not just as a source of financing because, we send all this money home, but I think they should also look at us, the Nigerian government should also look at us in the diaspora as development partners. Our own role is not to be sending money back home, but we should also be, development partners. So lastly, you talked about how do we unite? In order to move us, our NIDO, any organization, I'm talking about NIDO right now, in order to move it to greater heights, for me, it will take dedication.
Yeah.
It will take commitment.
Yeah.
It will take I've talked about speaking with one voice, so it will take a sense of single-mindedness and the ability to work with each other, even when we have differences or conflict within us. So if we realize that everyone has something to offer, that Dr. Tomi is not a threat to me. I can know Collins is not a threat to me. Collins has something to offer. I have something to offer. Dr. Tomi have something to offer. I believe that we can be able to speak with this one voice and at the same time, achieve our goals. So our unity, I don't care if you are, we're all Nigerians in the diaspora. All of us, we're Nigerians first.
Yeah.
So we should look at it from that perspective. We are Nigerians first before any other thing. So if we're able to come together and speak with one voice, I think honestly, just you think that the Jews don't have their differences. Columbus, Ohio has the second largest Somali population in the US. You know what? You see the Somalis. It's not that they don't have the differences, but you go to the city hall here in Columbus.
Yeah.
They are all over the place.
Yep. United. Ethiopians too. Ethiopians. Yep.
As a matter of fact,
yep.
my wife's younger brother is he's married to an Ethiopian. I see them. I see what they do. I see the sense of community in them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I was surprised. I didn't know a lot about the Somalis. Not until I started engaging. I have some Somali friends that we do things together here. We started the Columbus African Festival here.
Nice.
And that was how I got to meet some of these Somalis. They were telling me they have their own differences, but you would not know.
Yep.
But when it comes to Somalia or the issue of Somalia, they are all at the forefront. Somalia first. So for me, I think we can learn from these folks. It's not that they don't have their differences, but for them, the main goal is how do we achieve our goal as a people. So I think we as NIDO, we need to look at that. We look at it from that perspective. Nigeria first, Nigeria issue first.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, whatever. We have to look at us as Nigerians first, and the issue of Nigeria should be of paramount importance to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you really said it all. We should put our differences. There is no community or entity that doesn't have differences. But the bottom line is it's good that we disagree in order to agree, and that's how a progressive society functions. We don't have to necessarily agree on everything. Absolutely, we agree in order to move the country forward. We agree to do the right thing to move the country forward. You just mentioned something about how you were able to form a formidable front with other Africans
Yeah.
and start up an African festival. I think it's very constructive, and it's something that we have to look into and be able to work together. I mean, we can't just be the big brother by just the word of mouth.
The word the big brother.
Yeah, the big brother, but then again, our house is falling apart. You know, it's really.
I think the big brother should also realize that the younger brother is growing too.
Yes.
The younger brother will not
Yes.
be the younger brother.
Exactly. The younger brother is even stronger now than the big brother.
The younger brother may turn out to be the big brother.
But you
I think Nigeria should realize that.
But you made a good point that, once we unite, and I always said that, we should always think at the national level, then, at the regional level, and then at the global level. So even, as we unite and we hopefully, move NIDO forward and move Nigeria back into that, that Giant of Africa position, we should still engage with other African nations. We can also learn from other nations, whether they're Africans or not, and say, okay, what are their best practices? How have they engaged, with their diaspora, and how have they been able to get their diaspora, to help with their developmental issues, their economic issues, their health issues, because we have Nigerians, across every sector that you can think of, and both in the public and private sector. So, and when we're able to do that, and that, goes back to my former point that yes, we should have a liaison, even NIDO. I heard when we first started, we actually had, a NIDO office set up at the Nigerian consulate here in Atlanta, and they were serving as a liaison. And then when, Wahala, started, all of that fell out. No, but I said that actually was a good foundation. If we said, look, we're going to target, all of our embassies across the world for them to give us, some space there to, to have events. Just like you said, you have African festival. We can have that type of festival across different cities where we have, Nigerians and Africans, and we come together and unite. And if we have a liaison at each of those embassies, then we have the ear of the ambassador. Do you understand? And then we can put up issues and say, oh, this is what we need at the African Union level, at the ECOWAS level, and at all of the head of missions, which are the embassies and consulates all over the world. So this is a call to action. So, that's why I want to end on that point, to conclude on what should be our call to action for NIDO members and for those, that we need to engage with, whether it be the Nigerian ambassadors that are here, whether it be, the African Union ambassadors, and whether it be other African nations, and other nations that have diaspora affairs. Like I want to, reach out to the Ministry of Diaspora Affairs in Israel and really understand their mission and see how they're set up and see how we can actually have a similar effort, for Nigeria. So what should be our call to action for those that are listening to Nigerian Diaspora Radio, the Governor Just Show? What should be our call to action, both for our members and our non-members? Over to you, Sam.
Yeah, I think Dr. Tomi, I just picked one thing that you said,
yes,
how can we learn best practices from the like, if we're reaching out to the Jewish community, so okay, this is what you guys are doing, how do you do this best? I think we can, there's nothing wrong in asking questions.
Yeah.
I think that should be one thing. And secondly, for me, for all our members, our call to action, is we should, I know there are people, as I said at the beginning, there are people that maybe felt somehow about the organization, and there are people that the call to action for me is everybody as a NIDO has a role to play. You don't just leave leave everything to the leadership. Say, okay, you guys should go and figure it out. I think we can come together, all of us, and share our talents and see how we can move this organization forward. So, collaboration is great for me. We can collaborate in doing things. As I just was listening to the both of you, I said, I'm going to reach out to these people at the back end after this program so that we can see how we can make these things work. So, countries and that are doing great things with their diaspora to see how they do it. And the last thing for me in terms of one of the things that we talked about and is a hot debate is the issue of the diaspora voting. And I think we also have to learn from other countries, as Christians, and if possible, do some research and see what exactly are they doing, what did they do right. There's nothing wrong there. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
We can
Exactly.
we can take these ideas and say, okay, maybe we did the first time we did it the right way. Or there's no right or wrong way of doing things, but I think maybe there are some things that we can get and say, okay, maybe we can take this and see how we can push it forward. So we need to form a think tank, group, committee, to look at all these things, especially the diaspora voting. Of course, I know there are people that are working on it, but you can add more people into the group. So for me, I think those will be my few call for action.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Our honorable chairman. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Collins, and thank you so much, Dr. Tomi. As I said, I will definitely reach out to you guys, because I think you will, the BOD will be glad to tap from your reservoir of knowledge, the both of you.
Yes, we are here to partner with you anytime. So, and thank you for your great leadership. Thank you for your vision. And God bless you. And of course, God bless all of the Nigerians and the diaspora and our people back at home. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And happy Easter to everyone.
Thank you. It's
you.
An honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
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 We lift you high, hands up, hearts open wide as we cry. God, we lift your name high. Let all the other names fade away. Oh,
Yes, sir.
let all the other names fade away. Till there's only you. Let all the other names fade away. Jesus, take your place. Jesus, take your place. Let all the other names fade away. Hey, let every other name fade away. Till there's only you. Let all the other names fade away. Jesus, take your place. Jesus, take your place. You said, Jesus, take your place. Jesus, take your place. Jesus, take your place. Jesus, take your place. Every angel must come down. Fade away. Let every other name fade away. Till there's only you. Let every other name fade away. Jesus, take the wheel, oh God. 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 I surrender everything to you. I surrender everything to you. You can chop the course and take the wheel. Hey! Jesus, take your place.
Thank you all for tuning in to the Wellness and Wahala podcast. And once again, use your voice to be a voice of the voiceless and speak up against violence against women and just violence against, our girls. And also remember the 16 days of activism. So speak up now. And the theme for the International Day of Violence Against Women, celebrated all over the world on the 25th of November, tomorrow, 2021, is Orange the World and End Violence Against Women Now. It takes all of us to raise awareness. Wear your orange, okay? Bright orange. And the orange color, it represents a brighter future free of violence against women and girls. So be a part of the movement. And I wish you know Wahala this week and this season. Bless up. Mwah.